Welcome to Breeze. We got lots to see. Come on in. All right, well, welcome to Breeze. We got Gary and Kelly. First time being here. Yeah, all right. Well, welcome. Just a real quick thing, since you guys are multi-inspector firms running businesses. Everywhere somebody walks into a door for one of our operations, whether it be here at the Breeze manufacturing facility at Priority Lab, where we do all of our mold testing, or our headquarters or one of our call centers. Regardless, there's going to be a floor mat when you walk in that says rwscareers.com, and then, a little invite. People can't tell you no if you don't ask them to come and work for you.
I see it's in English and Spanish.
English and Spanish here. Not everywhere do we have that. At headquarters, most of our communications are with clients. Anyone there that speaks Spanish is also an English speaker. On both. And of course, we also have at every door somebody walks in a little display of what we're about and contact info for different departments, just so they don't get lost.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go see this facility and where these Breeze ETs and Breeze Radon machines are made. Come on back.
Love it.
All right, Ethan, tell us about these 3D printers and these 3D printer farms and what they're for and when we started them and what their capacity is in a day, how much plastic they can run through, that sort of thing.
So this is our 3D printing farm. We manufacture 6 parts for both units combined. On the left here is where we mainly focus on our BME hats as well as anything ET related. Over here is mostly fitted for Breeze 2 parts. As you can see, we have a dual display with every single 3D printer pulled up, ready to go, so we can come to it at all times to switch up parts to suit our needs. We go about 1 filament roll a day, and that produces about, for the vents, 80 caps. For bigger parts, it can be as low as 10 to 15.
All right, well, moving on, you can see we're a little cramped here at the at Breeze headquarters. By the way, this is what 10,000 tripods looks like in a row, and this one's kind of leaning over a little bit, which is part of why we're adding space. And if you look off to your left here, you have styrofoams. So we've made a lot of mistakes along the way since we started this, and one of our mistakes was putting these plastic Breeze radon monitors and environmental testers in a box and putting a bunch of styrofoam peanuts in, or maybe those little airbags and that sort of thing. Not even close. You have to get custom, and every single component in the box now is custom fit to whatever we're putting in it, and in multiple layers. So that fits a handle from the top of the Breeze Radon.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, we're out of space though. You got to take a look at these pallets and pallets of styrofoam. This is crazy, and this is preparing for our production and distribution of the Breeze Radon devices primarily. The Breeze ETs and the Breeze STs and the Breeze LSs, which are our environmental tester for mold testing, our spore traps, our liquid scintillation devices. We've kept up on those pretty good. We always have stock to deliver on. If somebody orders a Breeze ET or an ST or an LS today, we're gonna have it shipped out today. The Breeze Radon devices are a little bit more complex, and in 2020, we had a few issues with some of our suppliers because the parts that go into it come from about 30 different countries, and some of them virtually shut down and had labor shortages, supply shortages, and of course we're getting into all of these chip issues. So we've started making some of our own chip components to overcome that, and this summer we'll have 800 to 1200 radon units in people's hands of our new variety of device, the Breeze 3. So let's continue on.
See, I happen to see looks like a microscope. I would expect that to be at the lab, but you have them here in manufacturing. What would you use that for?
So for the radon monitor, it's very complex and uses very delicate parts. So we actually go underneath the microscope to check out those parts and meet our quality control exceptions. So Jose here will actually be cutting that part, looking underneath, and just double checking to ensure that it's ready to go on the machine for clients.
All right, so, you know, when you look at this facility, it's nice and bright, and usually it's loud. I don't know, who turned the music off anyway? Usually we have some music around here, and it's, you know, it's nice, it's bumping, and it's a fun place to work, you know, so that's a lesson in itself. But then, not coming from a manufacturing background, I mean, it's been 3 generations since my family was even a part of any sort of manufacturing. We had to kind of invent it as we went along. And one of the things that we came up with was a 4-part assembly line where the middle 2 assembly lines are flex. So let's say this month we're behind on Breeze Radon. Well, we can make the middle 2 Breeze Radon. But next month, if we're behind on the Breeze environmental testers, well, we can cut those back to 1 assembly line, and then these metal carts move, and they take the parts from one set of devices, and they move them out and put in the other set. So we're flexible on what we're actually manufacturing at any given time, and then each individual station has 3 different processes that they do. So you don't have to have every tool. You don't have to have every piece of knowledge of how to build something in order to work at any individual station, which made it a lot easier to get production ramped up.
And I see that they're numbered too. 1, 2, 3.
Great point. They are all numbered, and I had an idea of what that might be for at some point, but it ended up just being kind of pretty, to be honest with you. The numbers don't have a huge reason behind them anymore. But, you know, we stuck them on, so it would cost more to take them off than to leave them there. Doesn't that sound about right? I mean, do we use the numbers for anything, guys? No, not at all. No. It was a good idea. It was a thought.
Number 1 station.
Yeah.
2 station.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why don't we keep the cameras going as we walk back this way? All right. So follow us. I'm sure this is annoying. I'm sorry.
Very fun. Number 1, you're doing a good job.
Right? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are
Number
you-
1. Number 1. You're doing great.
Matrix, dude, you're doing good too.
All right, so like part of the efficiency model was to be able to take these carts and pull them out and load them up really fast and then send them on to the next station. And then they work on all their 3 or 4 processes, and then they send them on to the next. By the time it gets to the end of all of these lines, it goes through quality control, which we'll see in a few minutes here. And quality control, oh man, that's where it's at. We did not have this down for like a year and a half, but we have it down now. Can't wait to show it to you. So we're super proud of what we've built, what we've designed, and we have a number of patents that are coming out for the Breeze ET, for the Breeze Radon, and for our Breeze media as well. But one of the things that is not too hard to figure out that it's better is a bigger motor than what you find in other vacuum pumps that pull mold test. So it's bigger. That doesn't mean it goes faster. I mean, it could. Doesn't mean it's sucking more air. It could, but it's running at a lower end of its total overall capacity. And then in addition to having a lower part or a lower overall percentage of capacity usage, just a minute ago, this is how fast it goes in a manufacturing facility. There were parts right here that had the an additional tubing, which I'd love to show you, but it moved. Maybe we'll find it on the rest of our tour. But there's an exhaust tube that goes and spits air back at the motor, which keeps it cool, which makes these things last longer.
So it's like a turbo.
It is. And in being in the environmental testing space, we have the largest lab in home inspection. We sell an enormous amount of pumps from other manufacturers, and they constantly come back within 6 months, within a year, within 2 years. They are not long-lasting things. These things, we guarantee they're going to run perfect for 2 years if you're a client of our lab. If you're not, 1 year, which, you should switch labs.
Well, yours Is yours the only one that actually cools down?
Mine is the only one that actually has an intentional cooling of the motor. Like some of it is going to naturally cool because it just has vents and holes in the plastics, but it doesn't have active cooling where it's blowing the air back at itself at the motor, which isn't that hard to figure out. There's a lot of mechanical things that do this. You know, if you're familiar with a secondary heat exchanger, you know, it's kind of doing that purpose. Not exactly the same, but actually a sump pump would be more of an equivalent to it, because as it's pulling water through, it's using that water to cool as a coolant.
Yeah.
And if it's running without that water, you know, it's going to overheat and set off the high temperature limit switch pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is part of why we do it better. It's bigger, it's better, and that's, you know, if there's one complaint people have about the Breeze environmental testing device, it's that it's slightly bigger than other similar devices. Well, you know, tough shit.
So you did mention that these are a little bulky, all right? And
Well, these are the Breeze Radon monitors,
Yeah.
right? So and these are ones, by the way, too. So these are our largest units.
Okay.
Yes. So there was these ones, and then there's a second, and these ones had true 100, and we had clocked some of them at 150 to 200 hours worth of battery. Go ahead and hold that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It weighs, I think it was, what was it, 13 and a half? 15 pounds? Yeah, so it's a
Okay.
standard bowling ball.
Yeah. So do you have
You could
a...
use this for defense.
So, funny story, the first time we had this on stage, you know, we were demonstrating it, and I'm just up on the stage, and I'm like, you know, handling it as if it weighs nothing, you know, just because I didn't want it on that video to look like, oh my God. And then I think it was Bob Massanova came up to pick it up, and he goes, oh no. Just ruined it. I had this whole illusion that these things were nice and light and convenient. So anything that comes back, we take it and we figure out, okay, what's wrong with it? Has it happened with any other units? Is it a one-time thing? Was it our process? Was it one of our suppliers? Do we need to replace a part? And after, you know, this many years, we're down to a point where, you know, 5 to 7% of our units have, you know, some little problem that we're finding in QA, QC. They never go out the door. Last month, less than 8 out of 4,800 tests failed. That's not bad. And by the way, if you're using one of our Breeze Radon monitors, just to point to that one specifically, and it fails in the middle of a test, and there's no time to get a test done before the transaction is closed, we will pay your company your normal rates to go out and do another radon test with our device. And if it comes back high, we'll pay for a mitigation system. That's how I know there were 8 failures. So it's the only, it is the only guaranteed radon testing device. Well, it's impressive, but it's also what we had to do at the time, because now it's a pretty consistent product. You know, it's doing as well as everything else. When we were first coming out, we're brand new. How are people supposed to trust us unless we gave it a risk reversal?
Oh, I like that. Nice.
Yep. Not coming from manufacturing, you know, we kind of just had to figure it out. And the first time that we ever built a Breeze radon monitor or a Breeze environmental tester, it was in a room of, gosh, we had half a dozen people, we had 1,500 square feet, and some of the people involved in the processes would know how to do 80% of the process, right? Because they had to. And then when one of those processes changed because of an improvement, because of customer feedback, which we probably get 3 to 5 different pieces of customer feedback a day that we then put into the hopper and implement some sort of fix for them. And we don't ignore our clients, which is one of the reasons why we, you know, tend to have so many. At that point, these people were confused. And how do you know what's coming next? And the parts, we'd order 500 of this part, but then we'd go, oh man, that's not the best part for this product. And we'd ditch it the next month. And then we'd have 500 of those products that we didn't need. So eventually we came up with this system, which is just, you know, it's really simple. We came up with our own inventory system where every part number has an internal part number of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sequential. And it also matches up with what part in the process of assembly and manufacturing they are. And then we put them in these boxes that are clear for a reason. This box has 10,000 units of a press fit nut. Yeah, super proprietary stuff. I'm sure this will be fine on the video. So it's a pulse la tuerca de ajuste, ajuste. Anyway, we have the English, we have the Spanish, we have how many units per box, so that you can very quickly visually see we have 50% of that stock. It's time to order some more. There we go.
Very smart.
So we'll keep moving along. So when we first started sending these units out, we went to UPS or FedEx and just picked up, okay, here's a box that these fit in, put in some styrofoam peanuts. Now everything that leaves our factory is custom fit to the product, and it's a better quality cardboard, and they don't even call it cardboard. They call it corrugated. It's not cardboard, it's corrugated. Did you know that? I do, because I get the big bills that say corrugated. All right, so we've seen our QA area, or QA/QC area over here. We've seen the production lines, and we're about to triple the capacity of this facility. We're opening a training room. We're opening more seats, and by seats I mean seats with computers. Follow us, guys. I want to show you this because this is fascinating. All right, so right now, these are the first of 4 workstations where when our inspection call center gets above capacity, that immediately cross-trained people from the floor can hop over here and clear that capacity issue. And in the last just 3 to 4 weeks, we've dropped from a minute 20 at peak, which if people are waiting a minute and 20 seconds, it feels somehow like 3 hours to them. But we've dropped that to like in the 30-second range on average. So that's not too bad. And that's during peak, most of the time. Most of the time we're answering immediately, like 80 to 90% of all calls
Within
are
3
first
rings,
ring.
right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or my mother would be pissed.
Yeah.
Yes. And so anyway, if you work for us, you're cross-trained and you start learning multiple processes for building these units. Then you learn different units. Then you learn this stuff as well. And then you find yourself with opportunities in other parts of the company as well. So
Nice.
Let's continue on to a very special room. I can't wait to show it to you. This way. All right, guys, so I've been telling you about this room, which we're not going to let the cameras look the other way because of some of the automation, equipment, proprietary stuff. But for right now, you get to see this way. This way is being built out, and this is basically stations where they make all of our Breeze STs and our Breeze LSs. So media comes out of this room. And right now we're pumping about 20,000 units a month out of this room that go to clients of our priority lab. And instead of paying, I don't know what they pay, like $10, $12 at the hardware stores for 2 of these, we can save our clients roughly 30% on those. And rather than paying $4.50 to $5 and more on the sport traps, if you're buying boxes of 50, we're down into the $3.90, $3.80 range. So sub $4, and this is going to save our inspectors this year somewhere between $300,000 and $400,000 just on this one little thing. I won't bore you with the extra $1 million or so we'll save them on E&O insurance, but it's a lot of money. And as it goes through these processes, it's nothing, too terribly complicated. There's a proprietary mixture of media that goes onto a glass slide, and then that glass slide goes into these plastic containers, and the one side has your slot, air comes in, and there you go. Once it goes all the way around this, it gets stickered up. And I'll just give you one little example of the automation. Probably never going to have a camera in here again for all the other pieces, but there's this machine which just puts on the stickers. And we have an operator here that does about 60 of this process per minute. So you guys should bring your camera in here and focus right here. All right, so I've placed this now, and all we have to do is operate it with our foot. There's a safety in there, and you press the button, and boom. Now it's ready to get boxed up, shipped straight to you.